You have a quorum?
Okay, so we'll have the invocation by Councilmember Houghton, followed by the pledge of allegiance from Ms. Sophia Ciambre. I'll come down there with you.
I pledge allegiance.
Wait a minute, ooh, have prayer first.
Okay. I pledge allegiance.
Wait a minute. You have the prayer first, and I'll come in and we'll do the pledge. Just hang on.
Okay.
I go first.
She goes first.
So I want to thank Pro Tem Rich for allowing me to do the prayer about love for Valentine's Day. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. Corinthians 1:13-48.
You right there, hang on a second.
You better hurry up.
I know, she's practiced all day. She's ready to go. She's ready to go. All right. Now, go for it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And here you go, we'll get the flag. Necklace. Sophia, let's see, I'm supposed to be getting some cookies. Where are my cookies?
We'll get them this week.
Oh, okay, good. I need them. All right, so Mayor's comments, Mr. Wilson's comment.
I was able to speak to Joe, and he feels all the amendments would be agreeable on second reading. So I will draft up some language, circulate that to him the next couple of days, and then we'll have it out in time to advertise for the agenda next Monday. And Mayor, we still like to do 5 o'clock, based on today's discussion, we still want to do 5 o'clock.
That's what we had scheduled.
All right.
Under Mayor's comments too, it slipped up on me, and maybe it slipped up on some of you. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's. Don't forget to go get your candy ready for Valentine's Day, right? Staff reports. Chief, you're up first.
So I think I'm on the agenda for two things. One being the adjustment to the mooring ordinances. Basically, Joe went through these to make sure that we're compliant with the state law that was passed. This isn't to change anything. We've done a lot of hard work. Y'all have done a lot of hard work keeping our waterways clean. This does not change that. It just makes sure that we're compliant with the way the state law reads. So I would appreciate consideration in approving that. And then the second thing is a request to use some unobligated funds. If you remember from the strategic planning, our current body camera and in-car camera system is both aging and becoming less reliable. So hopefully you guys would consider obligating some funds to get us into a new system that is something that's required. That's all I got.
Any questions?
Funds.
You won't let him get off that easy? Okay.
Well, we gotta talk about it a little bit.
Ms. Stevens.
Hey there. So I have two things I want to talk to you about today. The first are the ordinances that are in your packet, Ordinance 3 and Ordinance 4, which I'm going to be discussing later, and then I'm going to get to my staff report. So Ordinance 3, and both of these are zoning ordinances that I'm proposing that would then go to the Planning Commission next month. The first one is I've realized that marine commercial does not have an impervious lot coverage limit. You know, we have this limit of 50% impervious surfaces in downtown commercial and 35% in all the other districts. In our chart here, if you have a home in marine commercial, there is a 35% coverage limit. There is no limit for any other use in marine commercial. So that is the first ordinance 3 that I'm suggesting. That's already been advertised for the planning commission, so that will go to the planning commission. If y'all remand it, that'll go in March to the planning commission. The next one, that really, this is for Sunset K and the one little piece at Mariners K that is zoned marine commercial. Ordinance 4 here, Wes, this is my slide. Can I pass my phone? Can I give it to you to do? It's up on my, yes. We're gonna see if we have a little bit of visual aid, because this is, it's not that complicated. I just feel like it's easier if you look at this. So right now, we have the RTF zoning designation, right? 2-family. That's right here around Center Street and 1 block out. There is a formula that gives you how big of a house that you can build on those properties, right? The formula is, it's not a set 3,600. That is by a formula. If you plug in 10,500, which is a standard street-to-street lot. Okay, let me back up. These colors aren't showing up very well. This kind of a lime color green here, 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 and here. It's only about 80 parcels total that we're even talking about. And my suggestions are not going to change anybody's right to do what they can do right now. But if you took one of these lime green lots and subdivided it, go ahead to the next slide. The formula right there, buildable lot area minus 10,500 times 0.1 plus 3,600. If you plug in 10,500, the standard size lot, you get 3,600. If you subdivide a 10,500 lot into 2 5,250 lots, then by right, each of those lots could put in a 3,075 square foot house. That's 2 3,075 square foot houses. Because it's RTF, that's potentially 4. So there's potentially 4 homes with a total of 6,150 square feet that could go on a subdivided RTF lot. Does that make sense? So I think this is.
Do we allow subdivision of lots?
So go to the next slide. This third column there that I've highlighted is the only time I ever look at that is when subdividing. And so if you have a single family lot and want to subdivide it, 10,500 is the minimum, but right now, 5,250 is the minimum size for a residential 2-family. So my proposal changes that to 10,500 in line with residential single-family, so that you would not then be able to subdivide it. Now, if you own one, you can still build up to 3,600 square feet. You can still build 2 houses. This is in the future if someone wanted to subdivide it. Yeah? Okay, all right.
I think it's been, has not the standard practice been to not subdivide the land and build 2 1,800 square foot houses and have it as land in common?
You can do that. And there is the one that kind of is over there on the west side in the first or second.
Yeah, next door to me is
Okay,
2 homes, but I think they didn't subdivide the lot, but they own the land in common.
they can still do that.
But
And
they
you
only
would
built,
still-
they built a structure 3,600 square feet, not 2 3,600 square feet.
No, 18 and 18.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, this makes sense.
2006, whatever they want to do, for a total of 36. If they wanted to subdivide that, then this would give them, they would be able to do 6,000, and that's what this ordinance would avoid.
I thought we were covered on not subdividing.
And through the last zoning administrator and me before that, we've been interpreting our codes that way. Jenna, through careful reading, realized that someone could use this as a loophole to get around our, right now we tell people you get 3,600 heated square feet. Jenna realized that this chart, interpreted a different way, could allow someone to double up on our limits. So this would remove the chance of someone coming in and exploiting this chart as a loophole to get around those limits.
Great job.
So we're gonna remand that to planning.
Both 3 and 4 remanded to planning for the March, their March meeting, March 4th. Now I'm gonna turn over to the, not work session, what I call it, staff memo that I wrote, and I have nine proposals here. And the first four all have to do with impervious driveways. And so I'm gonna read what our current ordinance says right now, because all four of these are these suggestions to change that. 16606-11, all driveways and parking areas in residential zones shall be constructed of pervious materials. So my first suggestion is we don't define what pervious materials means. It's in the building code, the International Building Code, so there are already industry standards for this. So my first suggestion is that we include that in our ordinance, what constitutes pervious. The second one, so as I read, all driveways and parking areas, for the most part, when somebody comes in to put in a new driveway and they have a pool or a sidewalk, they're just gonna continue with the same contractor and the same materials. Sometimes they don't, and they put in concrete for those sidewalks or around the pools. So this, my second proposal, expands this definition to not just be driveways, but to be any other surfaces at grade improvements would also have to be pervious. All right.
Even if you haven't reached your lot coverage?
Correct. Just like driveways now, even if you haven't met your lot coverage, all driveways have to be impervious. So just expand that to all other at-grade
Would
improvements.
these go through planning as well?
These will all go through planning.
'Cause
These
I
are
don't-
all proposals.
I hear you. And as a person who helped originate the first one, there's a reason why I don't like a lot of these. So I hope it goes to planning and there's more heads that come involved in this.
I mean, open to suggestions right now too.
I'm good right now.
Okay.
I'll wait.
The third one, right now, as I said, all driveways and parking areas in residential zones. The third one would require to expand that definition in commercial driveways instead of just residential driveways. Now, DOT does require that from the property line to the pavement, that has to be impervious for commercial driveways. So this would only apply to the rest of the commercial driveway. And then fourth is a practical change. We have gravel now listed as an impervious surface. You know, in Columbia, when you're putting gravel down on top of clay, then it gets compacted, then yes, that can be impervious. But here with the sandy soils that we have, it's not, it is pervious, and we're treating it like that. And so my suggestion would be to take it out of that definition. Okay. The next two, numbers 5 and 6, have to do with the tree removal. And this is, I need some input. This will also go to the planning commission, but I still need some input from you guys. Right now, you can remove a tree if it's diseased, dying, at risk, hazardous. But for healthy trees that are protected, right now, our ordinance reads that a healthy protected tree is located with a footprint of a proposed dwelling, and this is under the single-family lot heading. Now, if you have a two-family home, I think this is just an oversight. This meant if a single-family home or two-family home, you can remove a tree. So that's my first suggestion, is to just include single-family and two-family. The second one, though, right now, if you have a commercial lot, I don't know how you remove a protected tree. I don't think our ordinance allows for it. So there's a consideration to be made if someone, there's not many lots, obviously, but right here, 103 West Erie, there's nothing in that. They put up a development for an inn. They never had to take any trees down, but the Catholic Church, for instance, has about 4 oak trees in the middle of that lot. So right now, only a healthy tree can be removed in a single-family lot. So my proposal, so the question is, do you want to allow it in commercial? Now, the option would be to put that in front of DRB for commercial, so that in residential, it's still prohibited unless in the footprint of the home. In commercial districts, it could go before DRB, or it could not be allowed, or it could be allowed outright.
I like the DRB.
I like not allowed.
Pardon me?
I like not allowed.
Okay. So this may be another one for some consideration.
Yeah, I think we need to think about this because depending on where you are in a commercial district, you might not be able to do anything without taking a tree down. So if the Catholic Church wanted to expand the chapel, they would have to remove a tree to do it. And if you don't allow it at all, then they wouldn't be able to expand.
Trees mitigate hurricanes, that's the only reason I'm saying that.
Well, maybe you wanna keep the power with the mayor and council to make decision case by case situation.
That's why I like DRB.
Well, I don't care for DRB, but I like us doing, there aren't that many of them left, to be honest with you, or I don't think you have that come up very often.
Anyway, these aren't on,
There's nothing on it for tonight.
no, these are just suggestions.
All right, so,
You'll see them later.
yes, you'll see it. So removal on a single-family lot is number 5. Number 6, that same ordinance says it can be, a tree can be, a healthy protected tree can be removed in the footprint of the proposed dwelling, the septic, the driveway. It does not extend to the accessory building, which means if somebody wants to put a detached pool or a shed or any other accessory building, currently, they would not be allowed to remove the healthy protected tree. I'm asking if that is,
Now I'm moving to Brazil, I would not allow it to remove a good big live oak tree to put in a pool. That would just be my personal opinion.
I mean, every lot could have a home, of right, as it stands. Can I take yours? Number 7, we have the new Marsh Island Residential District that everybody's familiar with. Long Island was just rezoned to this district. The table of uses needs to include what can go in that district, and it would pretty much mirror what can go in the single family district. And then number 8, we just have a list of all of our districts, and the newest ones, the Marsh Island and Cemetery Overlay, are not in there yet. That's what number 8 would include. And then number 9, we have just a discrepancy with state law. When someone wants to appeal a decision made by the Board of Zoning Appeals, state law requires the appeal within 30 days after the decision is mailed, and our law just says 30 days after the decision is made. So I would suggest cleaning that up to mirror state law. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Mr. Lutz, you're next on the list.
Just want to give you a quick update because it is in our current budget year that we're in now. We have a line item budgeted for architecture, design, and engineering services for the future storage at empty clam farm lot that the city owns. I'm gonna let you know, staff put together an RFQ, put it out for response. We had 4 firms that were responsive. Coast Architects, Creech and Associates, and Mosley Architects, and Russ Dixon Architects. Staff did an internal review of all the qualification packages, and it was unanimous that we feel Mosley Architects is the right firm for us to go with. As you can see in the letter, we have a history with Mosley. They did this building, the exterior and the public safety exterior they're working on now. So just want to give you an update on that, and the idea would be to get an actual fee proposal from them, then we'll come back to you for approval of that, when it's dollars and cents.
I have 2 questions, if anybody else wants to jump in. Why did we do a request for qualifications before a request for bids? Like, why are we gonna pick a firm without looking at money involved first?
With architecture and engineering in particular, the state law prohibits them to bid against each other. That's something we've gone through previously. The last couple projects we sole sourced due to the RFQ we did back for City Hall back in 2018, I think.
Right.
2019.
Was this the firm that did it the first time or the third time? Because we've done a lot of work to this building multiple times.
This firm did the interior renovation and the exterior renovation and is.
But the most recent time that we haven't had any issues with, I guess, is what, okay. It just seems, and I guess if you say it's state law, I hear you, but you interview 4 firms and you take one of them without even having any costs associated with it, it's kind of.
We had to analyze it
absurd.
based on their qualifications and previous
I
work
got
history.
you. The second thing is something that I would like to see. I know it's our lot, but it is a nice there's a lot of foliage on that lot, a lot of fauna. I would highly recommend that whenever we look at like what they do with the exterior, they did a good job of blending this one in. It was very bright, and they kind of blended it in to match the rest of Center Street. The people that live over there, while I know that that is the city's lot, and we got that lot from them a long time ago, and it's really, they have no say in it. I would like to see it maybe painted outside with something to kind of match the fauna so that it kind of blends in rather than stands out. Would be the only other suggestion that I would have, and that's very minor.
We were right there with you when we did the pre-qualification on-site meeting with these firms. We told them we wanted to be in keeping with the environment around.
Yeah, perfect.
So we will be working toward that goal.
All right.
Okay, so you're up to approval of agenda. To have a motion to approve.
So move.
Got a second?
Second.
Any additions or corrections? Without objection, approval of minutes from January the 10th. Have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any additions or corrections?
Mr. Ellis,
Yes.
Mr. Rich,
Yes.
Mr. Grooms,
Yes.
Dr. Houghton,
Yes.
Bazell,
Yes.
Mr. Farley,
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin,
Yes.
passes.
Personal appearances, Shepherd Davis. So give us your name and address.
Yeah, sure.
For the
Shepherd
record.
Davis. I live downtown at 92 Radcliffe Street, and I'm here proposing, well, I just have a speech, going to just read it. It's about non-franchise surf lessons. Okay. So, good evening, City Council. My name is Shep Davis. I was born and raised in Charleston, South Carolina. I'm an avid surfer and waterman. I come before you to ask permission for my new surf lesson business, Charleston Surf Co., to have a permanent home on Folly Beach as a non-franchise surf lesson. I started surfing on Folly Beach when I was 7 years old. I'll never forget the joy of my first ride. My dad surprised me on my birthday with a board and took me straight to Folly, where I caught my first wave. I stand before you almost 2 decades later, still in love with surfing and the joy it brings to our community. It's this calling to me that brings me before you in hopes of passing my knowledge down to the next generation. So with multiple other surf camps on Folly, I just kind of wanted to express my due diligence and convince y'all why you should grant me an exception or make amends to the current non-franchise slots available. The first one, Ocean Rescue. So I worked in Ocean Rescue for 6 years, currently an employee of Barrier Island Ocean Rescue on Kiowa. I've been involved in over 30 confirmed ocean rescues, confident in my ability to keep all my students safe. Medical is another thing that is listed. So quickly responding to emergencies is crucial for any business operating in the ocean. Currently in EMR, which stands for Emergency Medical Responder, one step below an EMT. I also currently possess CPR, first aid, and AED certifications. Lastly, I'm also certified in open ocean watercraft vehicles. This is when they use the jet skis. Between medical certifications and experience I possess, I know I can provide an environment that is safe for all my students. Next reason, number 3, certified personal trainer. So I'm also a certified personal trainer through the National Association of Sports Medicine. I plan to have a proper warm-up and stretching routine for all my students. So this will ensure proper technique and prevent injuries from occurring. With a combination of my surfing experience and training knowledge, I know that my students will succeed. Teaching, number 4. I grew up surfing the ESA contest at the washout here on Folly. Since then, I've mastered the fundamentals and practiced them in professional and amateur contests across the East Coast. This will give me the ability not only to teach, but to coach my students. Number 5, etiquette. Etiquette is a huge factor in surfing. Many new surfers do not understand how to surf in a crowded lineup or respect the locals. This lack of etiquette makes the lineup extremely dangerous because they're putting lots of people at risk as well as themselves. I plan to teach surf etiquette to all my students in hopes of making our lineups a safer place. Ocean awareness. Number 6. I will teach my students how to properly and safely enter and exit the water, as well as teach them about water safety protocols such as riptide recognition and understanding which way the currents are moving. Lastly, number 7, community involvement and charity work. If you were to give me a non-franchise spot, I pledge that I will provide free ocean awareness clinics in a partnership with the City of Folly Beach to reduce drownings and promote safety of beachgoers. I also pledge to organize beach sweeps that will be promoted on my social media accounts and my business account. Due to my surfing experience and etiquette, sound medical knowledge, and lifeguard training, I'm confident I can become one of the best surf schools on Folly Beach. I greatly appreciate the City Council's time and allowing me to speak in front of y'all. Lastly, I ask that you give Charleston Surf Co. a non-franchise surf spot to run surf lessons in 2024, preferably on 7th, 9th, or 11th East Block. Those are all open currently. I'll answer any questions you have now.
You've heard the request. Have any motions? No motion, they turn you down.
Huh?
No motion to approve, they turn you down. Thank you very much.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Can I ask?
They didn't make a motion to approve it. We're stretched out with surf camps and franchises and non-franchises now, and you do need a few blocks open for the public to enjoy without being commercialized. Thank you very much. Ms. Peach, you're next up.
Hi, everyone. I'm here on behalf of the Folly Beach Residents Association, and I wanted to share a survey that we did because I thought it would be helpful as the City Council is moving kind of to close up a lot of the cap and short-term rental discussion over the year and moving into a lot of other issues in strategic planning. I thought it would be helpful data to have. So we basically, in my business, we basically work on gathering data and pulling insights from that and then having that inform our strategic plans. So basically, we did this survey to discover, first of all, the demographics of the resident community and where it stands now, and also to understand really what the residents' key priorities are and communicate that to the city, to anybody interested. And the methodology, just so everybody knows quickly, we handled it over 2 months of the fall timeframe before the election, and it was really about over 8 weeks. We did run it through our Facebook site as well. People could fill out handwritten versions, or they could give it to us by email so that we included all the residents. There were 205 respondents, so it was a really great number of residents answering, and they were tabulated and blinded, pulling out the big pieces of data and not obviously getting into the weeds of all of it. So next slide. So a couple really interesting data, actually, I think that helps us all. I think the prevailing stereotype is that a lot of the residents are retired and over age 65. About a third are, 32%, but really the majority of residents are between ages of 40 to 64 of the people that answered this survey. And what's interesting also is the smaller group is really that whole 19 to 39, but there's a good 10% children. So, thinking about planning for the future and what is the takeaways here. The largest resident segment are in their prime working years, and thinking about planning for businesses, for strategic plans, for what programs we want to put in place. I think that's significant, as well as planning for children's programs, which are going to come up later, I think we're going to talk about. Next slide, work status. So interesting as well, 51% of the residents work full or part-time. So there's also the stereotype that a lot of people are retired and really kind of enjoying the later part of their life and not working, but over half are working, about 1/3 are retired. Next slide. We asked residents what was their top thing that they enjoyed most about Folly, the second thing, and the third thing, and that's what that top graph is. The green bars are actually the first thing you love about Folly, the purple is the second, and then the blue is the third. And so if you look through here, I basically also added it up to the second graph. So, and I funneled it out in terms of what people love the most. No surprise that the beach and water are key for what people love about living here. Friends and neighbors, trees, birds, nature, weather, environment, and eclectic, funky attitude. So those are things that are really key to the residents and what we've got to preserve. Next slide. Then we asked about what activities do you enjoy and engage in the most and that are absolutely crucial. It also, no surprise, enjoying the beach, walking, enjoying the pier, food trucks, island parks. Really, it's about nature. It's about really enjoying our environment here. And this is kind of interesting in case you were planning activities, where we want to spend money, where we want to, put our resources. I think this was an interesting way to think about what people get involved with. I mean, almost 100% of our residents are enjoying the beach on a daily basis. Next slide is, what activities do you actually volunteer for? And I thought this was interesting. Over half of our residents are volunteering for beach sweeps. About 50% are involved in charity and fundraising activities. So we are very much a caring community about charity, about fundraising, and participating in that. Then next are festivals and church activities with about a quarter of residents. So also thinking about as we plan forward. Next slide, we also asked about what are the top challenges and issues facing Folly that we should address immediately. So basically, big picture, what was really interesting to me, because this was around the time when a lot of the short-term rental issues were floating about, really traffic and livability and safety popped up to the top 3. And we'll talk in the next couple of slides about what kind of themes were there. But traffic in a lot of 9-10 different areas seemed to be a big concern for people. Livability, and that's also a very wide-ranging topic around, good community life on a daily basis. And safety seemed to be huge. Number 4, party houses and rentals, no surprise in there, but you can look at the other issues that are lower. Next slide is, I'm not gonna go through each of these, but underneath the buckets of traffic and safety and party houses and enforcement, these are the big themes that many people brought to light. So I think it's important as you look at strategic plans that you could basically decide what to focus on. The last couple of slides are really, how often do those in your household visit businesses in downtown? I think the thinking is that we're pretty much fueled by visitors, and though that's true, it is interesting to note that a quarter of residents go downtown on a daily basis, and half go downtown on once or twice a week. So continuing to plan for those programs is really important. So finally, the takeaways. So the takeaways really are about aligning, so that's the last slide. The takeaways are about aligning to these groups of age groups between 40 to 65 and children, aligning activities to the activities that people enjoy the most and that they want to preserve the most. The 4 top priorities in terms of traffic, livability, safety, and enforcement. And I think it's important when you look back at the mission statement around preserving the quality of life for residents, this brings a little bit of concrete information around what is that quality of life and what are they looking for. So that's really what we're trying to provide, and hopefully that's helpful, and I can publish the rest of the data in case people are interested.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks.
So, Mr. DePass, I know you're here. There you are. Once again,
Yep, good evening, thank y'all. I'm Marshall DePass, I'm representing the Eastern Surfing Association. Thank you, Eddie, for your service and all that support over the years as well. So,
Thank you.
Come to you tonight to ask approval for the 2024 surf season schedule. We've listed it on there this year, 2 dates for each contest, but really the 2 that we run the 2 days on is the one in August for the Governor's Cup and probably the one in June. So everything else, we try to wrap it up in 1 day. We're confined to the washout. We do beach sweeps, and we're amateur surfing on the East Coast, 55 years plus, and be glad to take any questions if you have any.
Motion, we approve Mr. DePass's request.
Second.
I'm assuming there's probably no questions. Just a vote.
Dr. Houghton?
Yes.
Mr. Rich?
Yes.
Mr. Gazelle?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Farley?
Yes.
Mr. Grooms?
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin?
Yes.
Passes.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. The Heart Art Project.
Hi, guys. How are you? I don't know if this is working. All right, kids, you're gonna talk kind of loud. Kristen Capel, 612 West Beach Court, Folly. We've got
Miss Suzanne Baranowski. Miss P, I'm our teacher at your public school, James Island Elementary.
and
Sarah Mitchell, Duke Reagan, 308 East Hudson.
Kenya, you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Miss Kenya
All right, Jade.
I'm Sophia Siamba.
And we are here today with what we hope is a cool project. Art is such a good thing in our lives, and we're hoping to spread a little Folly positivity through art. Working with the art teacher and art club at James Island Elementary, but also I'd like to talk a little bit at the end about how it can spread beyond just the school and maybe interface with our seniors group and kind of bring intergenerational together. Our Girl Scouts are going to get involved in this project too. We've been talking with Eric and Tim a little bit about this. I think if I'm right, we're here to ask for installation request, approval for installation. Right, so it's called the Folly Heart Project. Art. All right, Drayton.
Did you know that 72% of Americans feel that art unifies and connects us? Participants exposed to art experience a 76% increase in well-being and mental health. The World Health Organization says art is good for your health. Kindness is also good for our health. It boosts chemicals in your brain, which can cause feelings of satisfaction and happiness, lower blood pressure and inflammation, protect your heart, and even heal wounds. Kindness is contagious, and positivity can increase our lifespan by 15%.
Our objective is to spread positivity and kindness funky Folly style through art in unexpected places.
Inspire creativity, spread positivity and kindness, presentation skills, and project management. Help our community. Positivity plus art plus beach equals perfect. Next, some examples of our inspiration ideas.
So the kids made 2 prototypes, just to give you some examples. And do you want to read those to us? Kenya, why don't you read one?
Life becomes easier and more beautiful when we can see the good in other people. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf.
So these are just some ideas to give you some inspiration. Couple other, Duke, what's your favorite one up there you wanted to share?
All you need is love and a dog.
You need is love and a dog. And on my shirt it says maybe a beach. And then Kenya, did you have a favorite one about the kindness? Oh, sorry, yours.
What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make. Jane Goodall.
And my favorite is beautiful girl, you can do hard things. You can flip on to the next one. So these are just inspiration ideas. We're not going to copy other people's art. We'll make it our own, but some of the messages we'd like to repeat around here. All right. You want to talk about logistics?
Sure. So the goal would be to start initially with 8 to 10, less than 2 feet pieces of treated plywood that they can paint at school, or the Girl Scouts eventually get into with the seniors or whatever, and plan where to place them in pocket parks, little spots that people could find them, and spread creativity and positivity.
And we're working with Eric, so how to post them properly, obviously not posted on trees, with 2x4, so we'll make sure it's all done proper within our ordinances, and Eric is by our side telling us where we can and can't. But the idea is just spreading kind of like surprise and delight over with boardwalks, pocket parks, things like that. So the other idea that I like to see is working with our seniors group, because art is such a therapeutic thing. So let's just see how round 1 goes, and if you guys like it, and if we want to continue it, maybe we do the Tuesday afternoon community, the kids thing on Tuesday afternoons at the library, and bring in some of the seniors and pair up kids and seniors to do some art projects too.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
First, I think it's a great idea, except for the walkovers. We were just talking a couple months ago about trying to decrease some of the signage and stuff with the walkovers because it gets a little too confusing. Other than that, it's a great idea.
I don't know. I'm not sure that I want to see any more signs stuck around the beach. You convince me to stick some more around the beach?
Right, Drayton, try to convince them. I guess you weren't successful. Okay, we weren't successful.
You were speaking the whole time.
I think it's great. But the only thing about working with seniors, when I told someone to tell y'all to just talk to us like you would talk to your grandparents, they said, "Oh no, these guys just roll their eyes at you and say, you gotta be kidding me. You sure you wanna work with them old people? Those gray-headed old people?" Yeah? Okay. Sounds good to me.
I did tell them, just to make it ease the nerves, that some of y'all probably have flip-flops on underneath there. It might be barefoot.
Anybody else?
The only thing I would add is that the mayor created an advisory group a while ago about creating arts and spreading it across Folly. So I think this is a great idea, and it's just continuing.
Okay. Mr. Pope.
Mr. Grooms,
How can you say no?
Yes. Mr. Gazelle,
yes.
Mr. Rich,
Yes.
Dr. Houghton,
Yes.
Mr. Farley,
Yes.
Mr. Ellis,
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin.
Yes. So now, one of y'all's things you said was to help you do personal appearances, right? So did this help you with your personal appearances?
Yeah.
Yeah? So come on back and make some more as we go through this project. How about that?
Okay.
All right?
And they learned a little bit about the municipal process too, and, we forgot the. Wait, what are you supposed to say? Please.
Thank you very much.
Y'all say thank you now.
Thank you.
And because it's bedtime for most of us, apologies
yeah.
we're not staying for the rest of the meeting.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, thank you guys.
So, any citizen comments?
I'd just like to make one. I'm Jennifer Mahines. I live at 213 East Ashley. I teach community over here. And tomorrow is Valentine's. We are having a free make and take Valentine card activity for the community in the community center from 11:30 to 2:30. It's free to the residents here on the island, and we're going to make Valentine's for our sweethearts, Valentine's for shut-ins, for veterans, and all you have to do is show up and create with each other. So I just wanted to share that. If you're free between 11:30 and 2:30 tomorrow, please come and join us.
Thank you.
Happy Valentine's.
Any others?
You can go first.
Hi, I'm Dave Miller, 19 Red Sunset Lane. I just want to remind everybody that our first blood drive of 2024 is Tuesday, March 5th, Father Kelly Hall, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. About half the slots are filled, so we've got a lot of openings. You can sign up at redcrossblood.org and search on sponsor code Folly. So blood's always needed. Thank you.
Thank you for that service.
Hi, Donna Bowling, 421 East Hudson. First of all, I'd like to thank you. I think the meeting earlier today went a long way to talk about things like beneficiaries, right? And not having to identify whether my goddaughter should be able to be part of my inheritance. So I think that that's a positive aspect. I do appreciate the concerns around what we consider hardships. As an example, we haven't moved our house to although it is our full-time residence, because I hold an ISTR license. A hardship for me would be if I needed to take care of my parents somewhere for a longer period of time. A hardship for many of our community would be travel, job change, loss of job. And we want to promote family positivity here, and having that family member be able to come back to this community, but be able to deal with a hardship that doesn't fit the confines of what we've defined. I'd also like the consideration of being able to change for people buying a home. Right now we have, if you owned your home prior to a certain date, for someone to buy a home today, they could not leave their house to their beneficiary and allow for the same, they could leave their house to the beneficiary, obviously, but having the same family dynamic of being able to have someone inherit their home and be able to rent it for some period of time to deal with the cost. But again, I appreciate everybody's thoughtfulness, and I appreciate your time.
Anyone else? Okay, so we're gonna move on to the commission and board committee reports. Ms. Hart? you here? Oh, there she is.
I didn't know it was booked as a report. It's actually a request. So I'm Carol Hart, and I'm here representing the Tourism and Visitors Promotion Committee. We desire to provide from our existing budget up to $17,000 to be spent for a project that will bring markers of Folly's history, such as the highway marker that now exists in the Riverside Park, up to 5 of those, and this amount will cover the research, writing, obtaining of necessary permissions for text, locations, and manufacture. The markers will be vetted and approved by the state, and we do have a contingent approval from the city to install them for us, that contingency being that we get all those necessary approvals. Locations are TBD. We've come forward to get your approval that we do it before we go to the expense and releasing the funds for research, et cetera. But we will come back with those exact locations for final approval of getting them installed. So that is what I bring to you today, is a request to proceed with research and obtaining of permissions for signs like I believe you've gotten in a packet, a picture of the one at Riverside Park.
Well, actually, you're spending money out of your budget, so you
It's our
don't.
own budget,
So
but
you don't have to get permission for that. But one question I have of you is, these permissions you're talking about, some of the property that you got listed, are you getting permission from the property owners before somebody makes a sign to stick out in front of their house?
absolutely, the text will be approved by the South Carolina Department of Archives to
Right.
make sure, and the signs themselves are going to be like this already
Right.
approved design. And we are hoping for public property. If we did decide, like on possibly the Porgy and Bess House, which is one of the potential candidates, we would then have to go get those
Okay.
appropriate
As long
permissions,
as-
yes.
as long as you understand that.
Wherever the historical situation is, we need to get those particulars approved, yes.
Okay.
Brings up my question, because I doubt that one in particular. The Exchange Club started the process of getting a historical marker at the Porgy and Bess House years ago.
Okay.
One of our former members took the lead on it, got all kinds of information, spoke to the people, filled out applications. We gave them money to get started. And then it means he had to leave all of a sudden, and we have no contact with them anymore. Fast forward years later, last year, I tried to contact the Archive Society, and it's all new people there, and they had no record of any of that went on. So I would ask, as you go through, hopefully you can find somebody there who remembers something like that, because me and this girl, we went through several conversations and meetings, and we could not get the next step done of what we had already purchased and paid for, and the plans and applications that we had already submitted. So hopefully, please keep that in mind when you talk to them, and try and use that as even as a bartering tool to get something extra, whatever need be. We've kind of, Exchange Club's kind of written it off as, okay, well, we're back to square one. Seems like y'all are gonna pick it up. So please, by all means, feel free to use that. The other thing I would say is, be careful, make sure there's a record of everything with multiple members. That way, if something happens, if you're leading the project and something happens to you, there is another recourse for other people, because that's where we drop the ball. And we still kick ourselves in the butt for that one.
I would definitely like to connect you. We do have actually a project manager. TVPC is not really there to project manage things. We fund requests. And so Ralph Mudrow, who is in the historic preservation at the College of Charleston, he will be our lead on research and getting the approvals, and I would love to tie him in with whoever from Exchange Club might
Sure.
have memories of and can help pull some of that together and work.
Happy to help pass along, hopefully get somewhere further than I got.
Sounds great. All right. I guess I wait for a motion.
No, you're
No?
good.
Don't do it.
You don't,
Spend your money.
we already give you the money in the budget,
Well,
so
we
you.
don't want to spend the money unless we have a feel that we have a consistent
We all think it's a
support
great
of
idea.
putting the signs.
Great idea. Good work, go forward.
It's a long time coming, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so
Meeting time.
We're up to Resolution 02-24, resolution awarding $1,150 to the Folly Beach Senior Citizen Club to assist with the Senior Citizen Club programming throughout the year, recommended by the Community Promotions Committee. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Mr. Pope?
Mr. Farley?
Yes.
Dr. Houghton?
Yes.
Mr. Pizzell?
Yes.
Mr. Rich?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Broom?
Yes.
Mayor Goodman?
Yeah.
Passes.
Okay. So now we're not gonna make Mr. Ellis get up.
Okay.
I'm not gonna make you stand up and move around too much. So a proclamation for Eddie Ellis for his service to the city of Folly Beach. It was great, this is hard to read, great admiration and deep appreciation that the city of Folly Beach gathers to recognize and extend a heartfelt gratitude to Eddie Ellis for his unwavering dedication and invaluable contributions to the city of Folly Beach and the community for many years. And whereas Mr. Ellis' tireless commitment to preserving the unique charm and beauty of Folly Beach has left an indelible mark on the community, and whereas Mr. Ellis' 20 years of service has helped shape Folly Beach for generations, now therefore be it hereby resolved, the city of Folly Beach hereby honors Eddie Ellis, and the dedication to the city of Folly Beach recognizes with respect and admiration the contribution Mr. Ellis made to our community.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Okay. Got it.
Thank you. All right.
So Eddie, I know you want to make a speech.
Yeah. So, I'd just like to thank everybody for all the guidance, and even criticism and everything over all the years. It's all wrapped into one. And definitely in 2002, the road my life was on needed a change, and I found it in Folly Beach political service and community service. And it brought growth and development to my life that I don't even know if I'd be here today if it weren't for finding a place to live my life and let my wild horses run. And so I just thank the staff and the current mayor and council and all former mayors and councils and all the residents and everybody. I just want to thank them sincerely from my heart. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So the second proclamation this evening is the 2024 Women in Construction, National Association of Women in Construction Week. And whereas the NAWIC Palmetto chapter has designated itself for 6 years as the voice of women in construction in Folly Beach and the surrounding areas, whereas the work done by the NAWIC Palmetto chapter has benefited Folly Beach through community development and educational programs, and whereas the NAWIC Palmetto chapter has unceasingly promoted the employment and advancement of women in construction industry, and whereas the construction community represented by NAWIC Palmetto chapter has been a driving force in fostering community development through renovation and beautification projects, promotion of skilled trades careers, and a positive vision for the future. Whereas the NAWIC Palmetto chapter has sought to achieve successful results for Folly Beach and surrounding areas in a cooperative spirit with other organizations. Now therefore it is proclaimed that I, Mayor Tim Goodwood, do hereby recognize the NAWIC Palmetto chapter and its many dedicated volunteers for its steadfast work on behalf and support of women in construction, and do proudly proclaim the week of March the 3rd through the 9th, 2024 as Women in Construction Week, and encourage our citizens to congratulate the organization on its many accomplishments and congratulate women in construction when you see them out here working. Thank you very much. Ordinance 1-24, ordinance amending Folly Beach Code of Ordinances, Chapter 117, short-term rentals by amending the definition of investment short-term rental to allow inheritance and hardship licenses, adding a provision license to comply with the South Carolina Vacation Rental Management Act, establishing an annual minimum number of nights rented to maintain good standing, establishing a 10 business day grace period for renewal licenses, short-term rental licenses, and clarifying that advertising more bedrooms to be rented than are approved is a violation of rental regulations. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any more conversation?
Just to remind people that we talked about this at length at the work session, and there will be amendments made at the second reading. So if you weren't here for the work session, it would behoove you to go back and look at the work session on the videotape, and you'll see some of the amendments that are scheduled to be made. That's all.
Anyone else?
Well, I'd also like to highlight that the next meeting is not next month, it's next Tuesday. So if you want to reach out to any council members or mayor with any other suggestions, time's moving quickly. So I just wanted to remind everybody that.
And it starts next Tuesday at 5 p.m., just to add to your, anyone else? Mr. Pope.
Dr. Houghton.
Yes.
Mr. Ellis.
Yes.
Mr. Rich.
Yes.
Mr. Bazell.
Yes.
Mr. Farley.
Yes.
Mr. Grooms.
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin.
Yes.
Passes first.
Ordinance 2-24, ordinance amending the Folly Beach Code of Ordinances, Chapter 131, offenses against public peace by defining allowable non-commercial projects that are exempt from noise regulations. Have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a
Second.
I can tell you where this came from. I
You
actually
really want to?
Yeah, why not? I received a ticket for working on a Saturday at Follywood. We were doing some fence repair because the police were translating the ordinance differently than council had intended it. They were reading it as in the commercial district is not allowed on the weekends. And it was meant as if you don't have commercial contractors and you're doing the work yourself, that it's okay. So we just needed to change our language a little bit to clarify that if you're doing the work yourself, you are fine. Commercial contractors are the no-no.
Any other comments? Mr. Pope.
Mr. Bazell.
Yes.
Dr. Houghton.
Yes.
Mr. Farley.
Yes.
Mr. Ellis.
Yes.
Mr. Grooms.
Yes.
Mr. Rich.
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin.
Yes.
Passes first.
Ordinance 3-24, ordinance amending the standards of the Marine Commercial Zoning District by amending Table 165.01, dimensional standards to set the maximum lot coverage to 35% for all uses in Marine Commercial District. Have a motion to remand to planning.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments, questions? It's up to you.
And Mayor, just one comment. We're going to announce this is pending.
As soon as you got through the vote.
All right. Mr. Grooms.
Yes.
Mr. Ellis.
Yes.
Mr. Rich.
Yes.
Mr. Bazell.
Yes.
Dr. Houghton.
Yes.
Mr. Farley.
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin.
Yes. So it's remanded to Planning Commission. It is now a pending ordinance. Ordinance 4-24, ordinance amending the standards of the residential two-family zoning district by amending Table 165.01 dimensional standards to set the minimum lot area to 10,500 square feet for all uses in the residential two-family zoning district. Have a motion to approve, well, excuse me, a motion to remand to planning.
So moved.
Have a
Second.
Mr. Poe.
Mr. Rich.
Yes.
Mr. Bazell.
Yes.
Mr. Grooms.
Yes.
Dr. Houghton.
Yes.
Mr. Ellis.
Yes.
Mr. Farley.
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin.
Yes. That ordinance is also pending. I'll let you catch up. Okay. Ordinance 5-24, ordinance amending Folly Beach Code of Ordinances, Chapter 134, offenses against public welfare by amending sections 134.20 through 134.99 to comply with the state law. This was adopted after our work on banning derelict boats in the river. Now a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Mr. Pope?
Farley?
Yes.
Mr. Grooms?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Rich?
Yes.
Mr. Bazell?
Yeah.
Dr. Houghton?
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin?
Yes.
Passes first.
Ordinance 6-24, ordinance amending the Folly Beach Code of Ordinances, Section 3407, penalties imposed by court, by clarifying the authority of the municipal court to impose penalties as allowed by state law for violations of state law within the city. Have a motion to approve?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
This just clears up the controversy whether the municipal judge can propose fines for state law, mostly with our, goes along with our boating, what we just voted on, keeping derelicts out of the river.
I'll say, where do you see this putting us? We're gonna be able to be harder on people where
We're gonna be able to.
they thought it had to be
we'll
less
able
than
to say
before?
The state law says this, we can impose that.
Yes, sir.
It's one of the best ordinances I think we've passed in the last 8 years, just to
Look at that, the former chief of police saying something like that.
get rid of those derelict boats.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Mr. Pope.
Mr. Grooms?
Yes.
Dr. Houghton?
Yes.
Mr. Bazell?
Yes.
Mr. Farley?
Yes.
Mr. Rich?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin?
Yes.
Passes first.
Resolution 7-24, resolution by Folly Beach City Council awarding an amendment to the contract for design, engineering, and administration of the Folly Beach Charleston Water Systems Joint Redundant Water Main Project to Weston and Sampson Incorporated. The previously passed Council Resolution 43-23, the amount of $690,200 for an additional $67,300 for required permit applications and preparation for state and local authorities. We have a motion for approval.
So moved.
Have a second.
Second.
It's nice to know that these are monies we're spending from grants and
Yeah. Yeah.
Mr. Pope.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Rich?
Yes.
Mr. Farley?
Yes.
Mr. Bazell?
Yes.
Dr. Houghton?
Yes.
Mr. Grooms?
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin?
Yes.
Passes.
Resolution 8-24, resolution of Folly Beach City Council granting authorization to the Public Safety Department for the sole source procurement of replacement of the existing body worn cameras and in-car camera system with the Axon, is that right?
Correct.
Axon systems for a total cost of $97,963.28.
Motion to approve.
So, second.
Any comments? You got a question?
No.
You guys look like a bailiff over there.
Yeah.
We better approve this one, yeah.
It's gotta be the fastest anything has moved from strategic planning to actually occurring.
Yeah, well, some days we get it right.
I didn't know this was top of the list.
Okay, we gotta stretch this out a little bit longer, see who wins the lottery for where we quit.
Oh, I need to get in.
All right, Mr. Pope.
Mr. Bazell?
Yes.
Dr. Houghton?
Yes.
Mr. Farley?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Grooms?
Yes.
Mr. Rich?
Yes.
Mayor Goodwin?
Yeah.
Passes.
Mr. Grooms, would you like to start council comments?
Sure. Dr. K brought up love never fails, and the students here brought up a good kindness is good for your health, and reminded me of forgiveness. And Ephesians 4:31-32 says, "Let all bitterness and slander be put away from you, with all malice, and be kind to one another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, as God in Christ forgave you." So, I'll leave you with that.
Anything else, Mr. Ellis? Mr.
Yeah.
Ellis is not leaving tonight. He's gonna be around for a couple more meetings.
Yeah, I'm gonna be around. So, I was given a timeline, we were, by the election commission. And when I made they'd said, announce on January 2nd that you're gonna resign on March 30th. And so I wrote my letter and I said, I'll make a statement on February 13th as to why I'm resigning. And I just didn't think when I said that it would kind of create kind of a stir, like, why is he leaving? Why is he leaving? But I wanted to leave it for the day before Valentine's Day because that's why I'm resigning. I'm resigning in the name of love. I met the love of my life, Diane Finestead, who's here tonight, July 4th weekend in 2018, and we have had a long-distance relationship. Diane lives in St. Louis, and she lives with her father, 86-year-old father, lives right around the corner from her, and it's the neighborhood that she grew up in when she was a child. And I've been going to St. Louis to visit her, and her here to visit me, and she's fallen in love with Folly Beach, and I've fallen in love with St. Louis as well. So I love Folly Beach very much, and like I said earlier, I think that it was a blessing to come here. And but I love Diane very much, and the visits were great, but there was always a departure date. So with this resignation, I'm going to be able to come see you, honey, and there's not going to be a departure date. So.
You may. Diane, you might want to reconsider that. I don't know. I said you might want to reconsider that, no departure date. But I understand that the something was happening in Missouri today.
Yeah, shall I stand up and
Yeah,
share?
you can.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Diane Finestead, and I am a citizen of Missouri and St. Louis County. You don't need my address, do you?
No,
Anyway,
that's close enough.
To Tim, Honorable Mayor, thank you so much for your friendship, and I know it'll just expand into everyone on the council. Thank you so much. When I came here to vacation here, it was to experience a lifestyle. And nowhere else in this state can you experience the southern hospitality that's within Folly Beach. And I had no idea that this man would take my breath away, literally, and I would meet him on the beach. I thought I was going to see sea life. I didn't know I was going to see the rest of my life before me. So I do want to share with you that one of my friends grew up in my neighborhood and had her home in my neighborhood in St. Louis County, and her name is the Honorable Ann Wagner, and she is a congresswoman for our area. So I reached out to Ann and I said, how can we honor Eddie? She said, why? I said, he's moving to Missouri. She said, oh wow, it's about time. So she said, today, this very day, Eddie will be receiving this message from her. She said, this is to certify, and it will come with a 5x8 cotton flag of the United States of America, our beautiful flag that we pledged allegiance to almost 3 times tonight. And so this is to, it says, this is to certify that the accompanying flag was flown over the United States Capitol on February 13th, 2024, today. And as we are speaking right now, actually, the flag was flown as a request of the Honorable Ann Wagner, Member of Congress, to recognize 18.5 years of service to the Honorable Councilman of Folly Beach, Edmund Eddie Ellis, and to welcome him to the great state of Missouri. Come on, we'll show you in the Show Me State.
Thank you.
Okay, Bill, can you top that?
Not even gonna try.
Catherine?
Just congratulations, Diane and Eddie. You will be missed, but what a great adventure. I also want to congratulate Skip and Jody in all of their efforts for the open position that Eddie leaves. So I really support that effort. I want to acknowledge that it is Black History Month, and so I would encourage folks just to continue to learn about our history and emphasize that. The other thing that I did promise citizens is that this is a plea to FAB, and I know it's last minute, but I would like to see all homeowners, 4% or 6%, be able to attend festivals without any cost. And so it was remiss of me, I didn't realize that that wasn't the case. And last but not least, I would like to acknowledge Heather O'Donnell. She's doing a wonderful job with the senior program, and everyone has mentioned how much that's become a really concerted effort, and the fair was amazing, and just let it continue, so it's been great.
Yeah, I just want to second that. That health fair was fantastic. So, going back to the election coming up, I think it's my hope that we can dovetail off Billy's comments earlier and off Catherine's comments, that we show love and compassion and community during this election process, and just remember that everybody's trying to forward the community and move us to a better place. And let's just try to be a little bit more tolerant toward each other. Thank you.
Eddie, man, that was great. I'm gonna say my goodbyes. We got you for 2 more meetings, so I'm gonna save it for another time and let you enjoy that one before I get you a little bit. Thank everybody for showing up. It is Valentine's Day tomorrow. Do what you're supposed to do. I think that when it comes to this STR ordinance, like everybody said earlier, there's little things that everybody's gonna hate, but you know what? You gotta start somewhere, and it's a good start. It's a good foundation. I think it gives enough allowances. It makes 55% closer to 80%, and it'll be something that we constantly monitor throughout history. It's never gonna go away. We will constantly be looking at it and make tweaks as necessary, like anything else that we do up here. It'll be something that we keep on. Hopefully we're on the right track though. So everybody have a good night. Keep that in mind, and we'll see y'all next week.
So Eddie, do you have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I didn't have one either.
Talk
You were busy. You were like so creative, and you were